Gnomes are principal elements of element Earth. They are a representation of it, regardless if living, material, demonic, spooky, spiritual, fatal, or shady. These baby-shaped elders are also among the ancestors of dwarves and are often their gods. Basic information: anatomy. While their shapes are varied and they are capable of shape-shifting, gnomes possess true forms that are at least vaguely humanoid in shape, specifically of a man at three stages of his life: proportions of a young child, height of a fully grown man, and withered visage of an elderly grandfather, or sometimes even a rotting corpse or skeleton. However, an individual gnome appearance is varied, adding elements upon it. For example, the gnome might have features of other animals like moles, grubs, and maggots, or a material gnome might take a form of statue of an archetypical gnome body. Gnome variants and kings. Gnomes can be loosely defined into several varieties, and while they can freely change between them, it takes a while. The most common are first denote walkers. They take the form of a large skeleton made of ice. The more powerful they are, the more they look like that, and less like baseline gnome that is wreathed in black flames that radiate darkness and freeze the things they burn. Also, they run slower than snakes when walking towards souls, but can walk so fast toward the north that, that water condenses rapidly and a loud that water condenses rapidly and a loud boom. The magic everything is heard, and they start talking backwards. In any other direction, their speed is defined by coordinates, which means that going northwest will be much faster than southeast. They embody the forces of elemental earth and can be summoned and invoked to help mend wings, help with weight gain and muscle mass gain, and help in many other ways. Second come the treasure dwellers, who are gnomes that take the form of statues that grow in size and type of material, depending on their power. Regular are small figurines made of limestone, lords are statues made of marble, and what greater ranks are made varies, but usually barons are made of lapis lazuli, counts are made of hematite, dukes are made of emeralds, and kings are made of diamonds. They embody art and riches and know the location of rare minerals as well as buried treasures. The centipede eyes are gnomes with elongated lower eyelids, which in the more powerful ones begin to resemble giant centipedes or millipedes drooping from their eyes. They smell of cemeteries and radiate cold, and their skin has a brownish color. They are embodiments of Earth as a burial place and are capable of some tricks of malediction as well as to being entities of elementalism. This Svartalfar, not to be confused with elfen subrace with the same name, are a living embodiment of the essence of element of Earth. They have characteristics of maggots such as pair of long, wall-like teeth, flabby and pasty white flesh, and or small beady black eyes. They are capable of to aid in actions that will cause things that to be granted characteristic of Earth, such as murder, construction, or smithing. The Gnomes are beings that resemble buff skeletons made of tree with branches sticking out, albeit more powerful ones resemble living giants made of woods. Yes, woods! They tend to not have regular gnome proportions, even when not that powerful. They embody the role of earth in the form of soil and clay, fulfill an ecosystem, and they have some eldritch tricks, mostly including dasurgy and some glamour. The Mountain Kings are a genius loci of stone geographical features and counts from petty kings of hills, genuine mountainous kings, and even emperors of entire mountain ranges. Their appearance is similar to trolls, albeit by that standard they resemble very androgynous trolls with humanoid forms but faces very similar to that of male trolls with elongated noses and protruding jaws. This appearance made them very pleasantly seen west into mountain troll societies. They are masters of geomancy, able to see ley lines instinctually and without problems, which made them a common oracle for people seeking geomantic prophecies. The last type of gnome is a spooky type called Claiborne Gentry. Uh, that are, in simple terms, the feelings that people experience toward their homeland may manifest. They tend to not look like regular gnomes. For us spooks, they tend to not look at all, as they do not have an appearance. But if they have to take appearance, they hallucinate in they observe as appearance that would most reflect the people, the homeland they represent. In some places in Erdo, the mayors of cities are not elected but chosen by the city's greatest claymore gentry gnome, who then either possesses them or makes them their prophet. Magical power and weaknesses. Gnomes are magical entities of elementalism. They innately possess abilities that users of elementalism, especially as they trying to Earth, require considerable training and skill. Albeit predictably, many of them lack the skills in using such abilities. Besides that, they can grant magical powers to wights, and technically speaking, to everything in existence, making them prophets and warlocks. As all elementals, they are weak to mercury, in their case boiling, or being on fire. Mercury can unravel their manifestations, vanishing them, cause their bodies to dissolve slowly, even destroying them permanently, or created a barrier they cannot cross. Behavior. As entities with strong ties to elemental earth, they are melancholic and greedy beings, sentimental and prone to sadness, and in general slow to act, as well as unwilling to lose their possessions, but very willing to gain new ones. Additional information. Characteristics. Average gnome has a face like a young child, but withered one like an elder. Average intelligence. They are very intelligent, however, that intelligence is primarily tied to things a rock would need intellect, such as how to prevent cracking, how to describe one's worth, and not things like abstract analytical or mathematical capabilities. They also possess high arcane intelligence and have practically instinctual capability to deduce magical knowledge. Perception and sensory capabilities. Many of them have a semantic sense that gives them ability to accurately guess the meaning of spoken sentences without knowing the language. They usually do not see by light and hear by sound, but have supernatural awareness of presence of substances and beings. This also extends to presence of abstract concepts in planes, which extends to presence of spirits, demons, and spooks in a place. They also possess a very keen supernatural sense of geometric network, as well as some sort of telepathic touch, with the most powerful of them being able to feel the object texture from miles away. Civilization and culture, naming tradition. They develop identity descriptors that are important to their identity and from names from translations of their descriptors to the to nearest white culture. Gender ideas. While they do not usually have sex, they tend to feature a masculine representation of strength, endurance, and vindictiveness. The few who present as female display features of nurture and feminine labor. In the special relations and assumptions, they are bitter enemies of almost all salamanders due to elemental opposition. For some reason, they tend to be dismissive of serps and somewhat friendly towards humans. As for secondary minor elementals, they tend to be friendly with flesh and wood elementals, consider ether elementals to be vermin, and are of mixed feelings for metal elementals. Since they are essential, they are the most common elementals worshipped by the warlords.